Hey, this is Mike. Welcome to Atomics on a Friday. Thank you for checking out this demo. If you would like, subscribe and like to get more content in the future. Enjoy the demo.
We tweaked some stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Our
I don't blame you.
animation that's not animated.
it's animated in the slide. Like, I don't know what happens. This is going to be like how the demo works.
It's APT.
All right. Due to screen constraints and copy paste, so I don't miss anything, I'm not going to be able to see what's going on.
That's okay.
So just tell me if something's share screen.
If you see our faces drop, like, just know something horrible happened.
Yeah. All right. You can all see this, yeah?
Oh.
Uh-oh. Defender for the win.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so that fixed the broken stuff. That's fine. All right, so this is kind of like a perfect example, right? If we look at the binary over here, this is what it looks like when the user just sees it. But you can see the file name changes in this instance. So that's kind of interesting off the bat. Like, I didn't even pay attention to this when I was testing it, but it's fine. Defender will work. So this is one of the things I had to tweak. It called for Puppy using RC4 encryption, but I could not get that to work. So I used Covenant, my all-time favorite. And as you can see, our sysmon endpoint checked in. We still use the port. Same thing. The host of 104 is still the same, similar to that. But again, due to Home Lab's structure, we flipped it to 172. So if we go back into the grunt, we interact.
I've never actually. It was kind of weird. I guess I'm a huge fan of Covenant. I've never actually like watched it. Just kind of analyzed like some of their features. Yeah, this is pretty cool.
I'm kind of upset it's no longer in development, but Mythic is a very close second to me, and I'm starting to take that over. So, I think with Covenant, we specify the PowerShell so that it's going to execute PowerShell. What this is going to do is basically go through the user's profile and look for specific files, and then grab those and then zip them up into a zip folder with an app data called draft. So if we just go rip this, let's see if
this was that works. Smasher grab, like, what are we looking at here? Yeah, we thought that was like a pretty, at the time we were like, this is like the most advanced script I've ever seen. Like, look at this one liner, like the future is now.
Job done. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Even has compression.
What? There's like not even a semicolon in this. This is awesome. Oh, there is. Okay.
Oh. I think it did. All right. So now the next step was to download. So we will go grab that from Erlich Bachman's profile. And it was draft. That's it. If I can spell again.
Death. That's it.
Let's see. Did I get it right? I think I did.
Best of luck. Yeah. See bites.
Tasking.
It's happening.
Where's it? Is there like a file manager or where? Oh, yeah. That looks like it's not empty. That's awesome. How did you litter the victim? Did you like?
So I'll go back. So this is my lab. So there's already stuff just littered everywhere.
Okay.
I was doing some sharp testing the other day, some testing of PCAPs for SMB collection. So there's always things just littered about.
So I'm assuming like if you were for an opportunistic like victim, they probably would have proceeded because that's a huge. Oh wow, it's still going.
Oh yeah.
Downloading. Okay, I didn't realize it was.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
I can't see. Where is it? Okay. So if we go to data, there's downloads, and then once it's complete, it would show up here. I won't make you all sit there and wait for it to download.
Can you run like async task? Like, can you keep?
Oh, just add stuff to it? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's similar, I guess, from my understanding that the tasking of like Cobalt Strike or other C2s that do tasking does that. So then the next stage after that gets downloaded was to deploy the stealth kit. So in our Galley box, oh man, you can see it. We spun up the handler. I already generated the payload. So now we're going to go execute it. This is one that I had to tweak. So two things. One, because I couldn't get Puppy going. And two, it calls for using monkey.png, which, we were talking about this yesterday, Jamie. It was taking a interpreter PowerShell output and embedding it into a PNG, and that gets uploaded to somewhere.
So that monkey PNG was like one of the notorious things from this like intrusion. Like I said, we kind of finagle things and move things around a little bit, but like one of their big like handles at the time was like Office monkeys, because they did this like huge phishing campaign with this like little GIF of like monkeys in Office, and like people were obviously like clicking on it, but then they were like forwarding it around. So I've just like heard these stories of like people doing IR, and it's like this damn like little GIF thing that no one will stop. Like it just keeps showing up everywhere. So yeah, that was like I don't think it was like Stego. So we did a little bit of obviously creative freedom there, but yeah, this monkey was it's a flash in the past. That's awesome.
It sounds like a movie where, hey, Bob, did you see this image? Click it. It's in your email. Across the cubicles.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
All right, so that's
the movie that no one in IR ever wants to watch.
Yeah.
Waiting for that to complete, but that should complete. So the next step was to create a few registry keys. So in particular, it's going to go from current user software classes and then create a directory structure called folder. And then underneath there, it's going to create different other things, shell and then shell open. So basically, very similar to what happens in the emulation plan is when a user, after you set these registry keys, you add the value of, it's in the emulation plan as a PowerShell command to execute that monkey PNG file, and then would do a UAC bypass to open up or execute the payload. And then that's how you would get your interpreter callback in this case. So in this case, what we did was we changed it and we just I exported out or created just a basic interpreter binary, uploaded it to the same path, and then we tweaked it. Because again, Puppy allows you for interactive, Covenant doesn't. So we tweaked it so that we can include the value with it versus having it prompt, because it won't prompt it. It'll just fail out and say, hey, no value is provided. Because the PowerShell command was very large and trying to figure out escapes wasn't super fun. But we'll just kind of drop those in there.
Those auto elevating like COM objects we spent it sits in my dreams. Like I get it, but like this is just such an interesting concept. Like this thing will just like, hey, I always run elevated, and like I will bring friends. Like I'm showing up to your wedding with like a plus whatever you tell me to do. Like this is like if I had to like devote resources to like a research project, I would love to try to do like ACLs in the registry, because like stuff like this shouldn't. I don't even think you're elevated yet. Like why can a user touch that key like that? Like it's not like it's not a Microsoft problem. I think it's like a Microsoft Plus implementation problem. I don't know where like the split, what is it, shared responsibility model? Like I don't know where that falls, but the fact that like that's just a thing that you can do seems like not cool.
Yep.
And so this is kind of where we changed it. So what would happen in the plan, what it calls for is to set this key. And then when it was prompting you for a value, right? Like just if like you were going to do this in a straight PowerShell terminal, if you don't specify the value, it's going to prompt you and say, hey, what do you want this value to be? And then you either put something in or you don't, which in the next instance, when you set the delegate execute value, you don't put anything. But it was super long. Let's see if I can just copy it over.
For what it's worth, I think that's probably the safer. I don't know why I guess we just set a bunch of traps for operators to make mistakes. Good design.
This whole thing, and so trying to put it in quotes, it was like no, because you have single quotes or double quotes here, and I trying to figure out the escapes. I was like, you know what, we're gonna modify this slightly.
Also, so like shout out to whoever wrote like POS invoke image, like writing the for loop to like parse a bitmap for like, jeez, that's.
Oh, this is a terrible mistake. It's still going, and so everything else is just waiting. All right. So basically what we would do next, we'll go trigger it. Where's the wrong box? All right. So I'm just going to run it elevated because what it would do is it would we'd use SDCLT, which is a built-in binary for managing backups within the control panel. So once you set those registry key values, and then tell it, in our case, we would tell it to go execute the elevated binary in C downloads, right? If we went into Erlic's downloads, we could see elevated here. And if we just execute that, what we should get back in our Kali instance is we can see we get interpreter session, so we can keep going. But basically what would happen is it would run in and generate and elevate and execute it as a high permission. So you get it as a high integrity level. And then from there, we would keep going. So we'll just kind of jump into it. I know we're at time, so we'll just kind of go through a couple more.
And I love that, like, at some point, we're just going to get another one, just like creep in. That actually happened in the day 2 plan. So we like, this is actually the plan that taught me what a like WMI event subscription was. So if you know, basically you can just set WMI triggers. If any of system event happens, do run this. But it's kind of finicky. So like if you set it for like a user login, you get like 5. So like a couple times we were able to crash our servers because we get like 20 callbacks at the exact same time. What's happening now? The infamous sysinternal suite.zip, which sounds super legit. Like there's no payloads in there. That's all good stuff.
That's how I transfer stuff in my environments.
Internals suite.zip.
And it's funny too, because I think this is another, like, that's another really interesting thing about adversarial simulation is like you learn really good red team trade draft, where like exactly you said, like all this like obfuscation's really slick, these USC bypasses. Also, like 29 was notorious at the time for like they would drop like legitimate S-delete to disk and just like forensically clean up. Like it was like their OPSEC was phenomenal. So that was really neat. And I thought it was interesting to also like the timing of like, I think like not soon after this, like we did like obviously the events happened and then we did the emulation. And then like, I think it was right after was it Sysmon picked up the file deletion like event. And it was like, it's actually interesting to see how like threats inform like, you know, offensive testing that informs like wide scale improvements.
Yeah, that's like one of the coolest things about like Atomic Red Team or even like these kind of emulation plans, and like it really can help people, like say like a tier 1 SOC analyst that wants to just understand more, and they have a lab and they're able to like play with things step by step and understand how these things work or operate. It's really cool.
There it is.
Are you going to try to type out that process name?
No. I tried so many times and I was like, let me just copy this and I'll paste it in. And no, it didn't work. So just use the ID, pro tip. But yeah, so in reality, what we did here, actually, I don't want to terminate this session. Oh, no. There we go.
There you are.
So what we did was there's a, in the resources part of the emulation repo, there's a package for sysinternals, which creates has things for ps-exec for lateral movement later. Oh no. There we go. Lateral movement, s-delete, and then a couple other things that are actually text files that we'd rename to PowerShell scripts that actually do things like the persistence mechanism, pulling files from a web-dav share.
I forgot about that. That's awesome.
Jump into.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I got run into this real quick, and then unfortunately, I do have a conflict that I need to jump to. But see if we can get some of this going.
Yeah, so I think you're on the web dev is down on step 7, collection and exfil. That's where you're at.
Yes.
Or 8.
Yeah. So I'll first do the README. Basically, we're just gonna convert the README text. So if you go look at it in the repo.
And I think we ultimately knew that we would be 2 or 3 parting this.
Yes.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And then so now that should be good. And then there's functions. So if you go look at the text file in the repo right now, you look at it and you're like, oh, this is just the README TXT from sysinternals. No. Keep scrolling down. Within there, there's all the PowerShell functions that we're going to execute next real quick. And if my screen would stop blanking out, that would be phenomenal. So in this case, we'll do invoke discovery real quick, which basically does some reconnaissance. It goes and collects a bunch of information from the user system. But now let's do kind of the same thing. So now we're going into step 5, which is persistence. So we're going to do the same idea. There is a second text file in there, which is the PS version. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to, forgot a key. You name that.
PowerShell syntax is so weird to me. The dot like.
Yeah, and there's no tab complete in this session. Like when you do it like this, it's absolutely wild.
It's fun watching.
This.
There's like 2 flags, I remember correctly. There's like
1. No.
What was it? I just saw it. It's persist step 1 and 2. At least that's what it told me.
Oh, you're missing the T at the end of persist. Oh, yeah.
There it is. Copy paste.
Oh
man.
Oh, because it already exists.
Oh,
apparently,
nice.
Apparently, I forgot to clean up this testing, but that will happen. It's a very service.
Well, if we have to wrap up here, Paul, it's all good.
Yeah. But that's really it. So really, like I said, the only thing that I had to change was the puppy setup and use a different C2, which pick your flavor, and then just kind of tweak to its capabilities. But it was very straightforward from there. Just tweak, whether you're following and using the 192 addressing, you can literally just copy and paste it, put it in Caldera, or just step through it. It's very easy, which is super handy for doing this. But if you like to do it the hard way and the painful way, you can do exactly what I did and just good luck and have fun. But there's a lot of good information, and just go check these out because they are super handy and to kind of bridge the gap between the standard atomic testing and a full adversary emulation simulation red team operation. So this is super, super cool to see, and excited to see what more comes out of this.